You took me on a little trip.
Mm-hmm.
We went to, we took a field trip, what we like to call touching grass.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not to a cemetery. I debated.
not to a cemetery, which we'll get there.
Yeah, and my favorite one's too much of a drive. So
Yeah, one day we'll get there when I can leave my house, because I am a hermit.
yeah, we're working on that.
I am Bilbo Baggins.
I
hate leaving my house.
I have some things to say today, which will possibly, help.
Maybe change that?
Well, every little bit. So.
Well, what would you like to tell the folks who are listening where we went?
So, I have a very old friend of mine, and like an enormous number of people I've known for decades, is a very, very well-built eccentric and has done fascinating and wonderfully weird things with their lives. And not that long ago, she decided to open a, I suppose, macabre curiosity shop, specializing in taxidermy and odds and ends, called Vulture Culture, which is not that far from us.
Yeah.
And there we are.
There it is.
Ironically, next to Gun World, which I really they have a very good relationship. I will say it's Burbank, so things are a little chill, and it's interesting, like this very masculine totem next to this like very feminine witch vibe.
Yeah, it is a very funny block of Burbank. Burbank is a really where we were
beautiful downtown
in California.
Burbank.
Beautiful downtown Burbank. It's a very funny little town, but. We met at Atomic Records, which is a fantastic record store. We both got
two doors down.
Two doors down. We both got some great
Booty.
great weird little there was a section that was just personality, strange and weird.
Yeah.
Which our friend Marisha is a big fan of that section.
Oh yeah.
And has found some good stuff. So we went there, got some records, and then we went next door.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Alicia, who for the first time, your friend, and was astounded by her.
Yeah, she's a lot.
She's amazing.
She does she's one of the like weird collection of women that I got to know as a teenager that ended up becoming just monstrous and terrifying personalities of any one thing they decide to aim at, they succeed.
Yes, she's a badass.
Yeah, she's
just
she's
endlessly
machine.
talented, just as an artist and as a taxidermist.
Yeah.
But just like I've always been fascinated with taxidermy. I have some pieces, mostly birds, because I love birds and rarely do you get to see them up close. And she so wonderfully opened up the shop just for us because it was the day that she was closed, and I touched everything.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of petting.
There was a lot of petting and like so many different animals where I'm just like, you would never get to pet these.
Porcupine.
The porcupine was so weird, and the porcupine was in the back. Oh, look it!
Oh boy!
So this possum. It was. I might have to go back for him.
This is one of my favorite kinds of taxidermy.
I'd never seen taxidermy like this before.
I hadn't until she had opened the shop. I was not aware that this was a thing you could do, which is soft. It's not. It doesn't have like a hard base to it.
Yeah, it's like a stuffed animal.
Yeah, this one is strange because it has a skeletal structure in it, so it makes this weird cracking feeling, like a posable action figure. Which it's because it still has the skeleton.
It still has the skeleton in there, and
that actually like creeped me out a bit, which is impressive. It's hard to do.
I fell in love with him.
They're very.
And I couldn't put him down, and I was just like petting him the whole time we were in the store, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
Like I'm holding this creature like he's real, but there was such a comfort in it.
Yeah. Oh, I should also point out, just to put down for anyone who's worried right now, there is nothing in this store that isn't monstrously and ethically dealt with.
Yes.
There is nothing. Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing that I learned because, since I'm somewhat new to this world, we also had talked about taking a taxidermy class together, which eventually one day we will. But there are many rules and regulations.
Yes.
And which I very much appreciate,
Oh, yeah.
especially with birds.
Yes, very much so.
And
You can get in a lot of trouble.
yeah, she was saying that a lot during the Victorian era,
Yes, the
that
Victorian era.
so many birds went extinct, specifically songbirds, which makes me so sad, where they would use them for brooches or for hats or for
Lots
decoration.
of hats. Yeah, a lot of them ended up on hats.
And which is,
Went extinct on hats.
yeah, which is so sad.
Oh, yeah.
So now there are so many rules that are just wild. Oh, this was the dodo bird,
Yes.
which was very big.
Yes, it's a very
But
big bird.
also the face was so cool because it was 3D printed and modeled after the dodo bird that Darwin had found.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Oh, look at that baby.
But look how cool that is.
Yeah, that's another thing is not all the time are everything actually what they are. There's a lot of stuff where they've taken liberties to, it's not about using the whole thing. It's about the image of life, and rather than the maintaining of remnants.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different philosophy. Oh, look, I have horns back there.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew this picture because I had just taken it of the bird and I sent this to you yesterday. And I was like, look how perfectly lined up you were with those horns in the back.
That's a bad sign.
Or
a good sign, I'm not
great
sure.
sign. Yeah, I find she was just incredibly fascinating to me. Alicia's very smart.
Yes.
And also is a prop master on many different films.
He owns all these creepy stuff.
Yes, and there were many haunted and cursed dolls in the store.
A few doll houses too.
A few doll houses. It was a really fun space to explore.
A little bit of rogue taxidermy, which is my favorite thing.
Rogue taxidermy?
I believe that's the phrase for sort of off-kilter, unusual, anthropomorphized.
Okay.
When you put an animal in when you do like a squirrel, but except putting them in a dollhouse and maybe have them drinking a cup of tea.
A little cup of tea.
A little fanciful.
I did purchase a baby duck.
You did. It was a very cute duck.
That is in a bathtub with a little toaster that's about to fall in. And I didn't bring it just in case anybody would listen. I like things that are a little disturbing. I'm sorry if that upsets you, but
I get it.
This is how I deal with death.
I have a vampire mouse, and I almost have bought a mouse that she used to sell. They're out of them now. Mice on like stripper poles, like doing.
Come on.
I mean, people do beautiful things.
That's amazing.
And again, nothing like they do not kill the animals for this. This is very much
Well, another thing. So she does. We talked a lot about. She does a lot of pets.
Yes. Oh.
Which I found very interesting because I don't think I could do that with any of my pets.
We were talking about that earlier. Of like right before we went in, you were showing me some pet taxidermy and like it. How do you live with that?
How do you live with it? Because someone had their dog's head mounted on a. I don't know if I could do that.
No, I certainly couldn't.
No, but she does this really beautiful. I mean, I think she calls them death wreaths. I don't know what she calls them, but so
this blew my mind. I had never heard of this.
Yeah, the woman, her cat had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And she, Alicia made this beautiful wreath with the cat's bones. And I think it's a really cool way to if it's your thing.
It's also designed to not live forever. Like this thing is actually designed to disintegrate and fall apart so that it is not a forever memory. It is just something to kind of get you through the worst of it. And I really like that it is not something that is going to need to be maintained, and it is all, other than like a little wire, it is all designed to be natural and fall apart and go back to the earth. And I really appreciate that. I think that it's such a good way of of having something like that that won't lord over you until your dying day, hopefully.
Yeah.